It's the Twins Moreno. Living
Living
Room
Room
Conversations. Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 2 of Living Room Conversations. I'm Valentina,
I'm Valeria.
and this is a special episode because we had the opportunity of chatting with Maura Campbell.
She's the founder of Fugitive Sister Productions, as well as an award-winning playwright, director, and screenwriter.
And in this episode, we touched on her upcoming projects, her journey, and more. So without further ado, here's our Living Room Conversation.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
you really are twins.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're so cute.
Thank you. I'm Valentina. I'm Valeria.
How do you, so Valentina and
Valeria. So Valeria.
beautiful. Wow, your mom had or your parents, I should say, had a vision for you too,
No,
didn't they?
they did. They did.
Cool.
So we want to start off by asking, I guess, tell us a bit about the project.
Okay, well, so I have more than one thing going on. So narrowing it down, I think maybe we're talking about quirks. Is that
Mhm.
what you were? It just came to me recently, and I moved to New York City, been a little over 2 years now. My whole life dream, was to come here. I've been a playwright and started working in film, but living in Vermont and Florida, and then my husband died, and then I had breast cancer, and everything was like, ah. And once that sort of resolved, I moved here and I just decided, man, I'm gonna, do some work. And things are really going well. But anyway, because they're going so well, I'm working on actually a musical about Fyodor Dostoevsky at the moment with four like brilliant composers. I'm kind of the playwright and lyricist portion, plus finishing a documentary and also finishing a film I made during COVID that got interrupted by death and breast cancer and everything else. That's just about done. And I started working with these incredible young people, Antonella and Josh, and uh, they just, you know, had a vision for the company that I started called Fugitive Sister Productions. And so, they're really schooling me on ways that even at my age, and not being young and hip like they are and like you are, that I have something to offer, maybe a lot to offer actually. So anyway, you know, they've been working with me and helping me with everything that I've mentioned just now. But the newest project is called Quirks. I woke up one morning, I thought, my gosh, I'm living in New York City, and everyone I'm working with is kind of an oddball like me. Like we're all kind of quirky, shall we say. And so I thought of creating something. It's actually not that different from what you're doing, as far as I can tell, except it'll be on more on camera. So, like in a way, it's like a talk show with my collaborators, but we're also doing something. So it's kind of fun and games. And then, but if you're a quirk, you have something to say, something pretty profound usually. And so that's where it's kind of an open field, but every day I collect another character or two just by living in the city and doing what I do. I'm a member of the Actors Studio as a playwright, and also the Lambs, which is the oldest theatrical organization in the country, of everyone from really famous people like Errol Flynn and I think Humphrey Bogart and so on, have been members historically. I think we started Actors Equity, our group, SAG, like a lot of organizations that support artists. And so now we're sort of challenged in this day and age to keep it up, do the next thing. So we're trying to invite, if you're not in New York City, but if you were, I'd try to bring you into the Lambs because we need you guys. We need the young voices. And so anyway, that's kind of what we're doing, this Quirks thing. And we probably shot 4 or 5 segments so far. And yeah, so kind of in a nutshell, that's what I'm up to.
No, that's amazing. I actually had a question. We've been able to chat with a few different individuals that are pursuing a career field in this industry. How
how did you get into it in the sense of what influenced you?
Yeah, well, so when you say the field, you mean film, I'm presuming, or
Yeah.
just, but I be, you know, again, began as a playwright. So I lived in Vermont, and there was no avenue that I could see in film. Like when I finally decided at the age of 38, damn it, I'm going to be a writer. I've been waiting my whole life, 4 kids, had a business, blah, blah, blah. And then I had this incredible like nervous breakdown. And when I came out of it, I started writing. And turns out I had a lot to say. So it seemed to me at the time, and I think I was right about it, that probably the most progress I could make was as a playwright rather than a screenwriter, because I'm living in rural Vermont, you know. So I started writing plays and written about 100 at this point. But at some point, I also started teaching screenwriting at this small college in Burlington, Vermont, or so, or maybe a few. Yeah, I taught there off and on for about 10 years. Became my collaborators. I mean, again, it's like work with young people. So you're asking for advice on for young people. Well, I have advice for old people. Meet young people because they really um, have fresh perspectives and they're not afraid to work. So, you know, when you get older, you know, you have a lot of, you know, disappointments. We all do. And sometimes, you know, it's easy to sort of abandon your passion. So anyway, but to try to have advice for young people, move to New York City for one. I mean, it's so easy here. You know, I lived in South Florida and again Vermont, and it's not the same. It's just not the same. I think I experienced, again, I'm thinking about myself as an older person, ageism in my life a lot. Not here, not here. So, but the main thing is you need collaborators. I mean, the two of you are working together, you're sisters, which is awesome, but you can't do this alone. And you just have to do it. I work with different young people who are writing. Some are just starting out, some are, you know, a little further along. But I mean, I'm just one of those people that I like to encourage people. And so I'm always working on scripts with people. So you got to find someone that can help you too. And you got to spend a little bit of money, you know, maybe not a lot, but some. And I think there is something to be said for graduate school. Be nice to go to the big ones, NYU, Columbia, and all, Yale, but that's not always possible. But still, there's a lot of contacts made in graduate school or even just workshops. So you got to get out there and you got to open your mouth. You've got to talk about what you're doing and, you know, work 2 jobs, 3 jobs. I don't know. I worked a million jobs raising 4 kids and to sort of get where I am. And so here I am. You know, does that help?
Yes, it does help so much. I was gonna ask you, I know I myself am a writer, but I think how did you, I guess, connect that part of your life that I think that's very vulnerable or certain experiences um, in a way where I guess for me it's very hard sometimes to be very vulnerable. I think I can touch on certain things of fictional characters and things like that, but sometimes it can be very difficult to really just write down the most vulnerable things. How did you touch into that?
Yeah. Um, I'll tell you that again, I did go back to school in my early 40s and then in my 50s and 60s. I've been to graduate school or graduate school 3 times since I've been a big old person. And I was told early on, you have got to write about the most painful things. Because if you don't, you know, it's you're just not going to move people or yourself. I can feel it when I'm writing because I can be writing along and, you know, maybe, I mean, usually it is fiction. Sometimes it's based on my own experience. But I start crying sometimes when I write and then I know. But if I am vulnerable, then an audience can be vulnerable. And we want that. We absolutely want that. We want to feel. And I think what's so marvelous in today's age with TikTok and YouTube and all your podcasts, which I was just listening to, and I can answer a question you asked on it in a second here, but is that we're all able to be artists. We can practice being an artist. There are people, as you know, who have just gone viral and they're just like sitting around, doing God knows what, and then had an idea and put it out there. And, you know, um, yeah. So I guess it's just something you have to make up your mind that you are going to take that risk. You're going to have to jump off that cliff. But here's the thing I want you to tell you before I forget that thing about a grain of salt. I was just listening to your podcast and you wondered where that came from. A little bit of salt makes food taste better. It goes down more easily. So that's the origin of that expression.
All right,
So
thank you. Thank you.
you.
Honestly, I had no idea. I think people say it all the time, and I was just kind of like, I guess it's just a phrase people say, but I
Yeah.
had no idea that it had an origin. I thought somebody just made it up.
Well, everything has an origin, of course. That's what language is.
Of
So,
course. And
so
oh,
yeah.
keep going.
Well, I want to know what you guys are working on. I mean, I know about your podcast. You said you're a writer. Are you both writers or performers?
Yes, I sing. I like songwrite, but Valeria's she's the writer here. And the
We,
title from her. Yeah, we're both writing a screenplay right now.
okay.
But and I think that's what we're collaborating on. I think that's Valentina's first, I think, writing. But I think I started writing when I was maybe in the eighth grade.
Yeah.
And it was really bad, but I got really inspired after seeing a movie, and I just started writing.
What movie did you see that inspired
It
you?
was La La Land.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My gosh. What a movie.
I I think for most of my life, I had just seen very, not childish, but very just like PG movies. And I
Yeah.
just stumbled upon it one day, and that just felt almost like entering into like my adulthood or like teenage years, or in such a way where I just felt very inspired.
Yeah.
And I kind of want people to feel that way.
Yeah.
So I just started writing about something, and it was the most, I think, difficult process, but I'm barely, um, I think now in my life, I think I'm in a period where I can really write about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on. I just want to tell you, I know, do you know about John? I guess there's a movie called Tick Tick Boom, and
Yeah.
that movie was so inspiring to me just
Yeah.
because Jonathan Larson's story is very inspiring,
No.
especially for people, I
Yeah.
think, that have been working towards something or just want to take that leap, but it's very difficult to kind of,
Yeah.
I guess, get over that internal feeling.
Yeah.
So when you were explaining, I think, a bit of that, I think it kind of touched on, I think we're all sort of connected in some way, and we all kind of experience the same things when it comes to writing or just creativity.
Yeah, I agree. And that's like an incredible example, his life. And of course, that film is about him, that he really never lived to see that musical. I don't even think he lived to opening night,
No,
right?
he died the night before opening.
Yeah, I mean, so when I was in Vermont and, writing and directing and all this stuff and thinking, I'm never going to get out of Vermont, I'm never going to, and then it occurred to me one day that I might be writing for the future. Like whatever my body of work is, maybe it will be like that. Maybe I will die before I have notoriety but so it has to be about the work. It can't be about the success because that is, I saw a play last night. I'm telling you, it's the best play I saw ever in my entire life. Best actors. And nobody on that stage is famous. Maybe they will be before they're done, but probably not. But oh my God, what an incredible show they put on. So it's really about the work and the community and quality of life.
Absolutely. We're currently we go to school, we go to university here in Arizona, and we went to the musical that they put on, which is Sweeney Todd with the students here.
Oh my
And
God, I've seen it 3 times in New York recently. But anyway, keep talking. I
and
love
they
it.
were absolutely incredible. It
Yeah,
was, and it just kind of felt like this personal, intimate moment that you can't help but root them on and also feel like, why aren't they there? So,
yeah.
I did want to say before we wrap up, I did have one question, and it was, when it comes to your work, how would you I know a lot of people sometimes have a word or a phrase to describe it, or sometimes like a feeling. How would you express, or if you could tell us in a simple sentence, your work to other people if they're not familiar with it?
So I tend to explore magical realism a lot, which is another reason why film is pretty cool because film allows that. Stage does too, but I do write dramas mostly. I guess I try to write about the most painful things. And in terms of my style, I there's just I try to write stories where everybody that's on the stage or on the page, any character, as if it's their story. Like everybody, um, they may not get equal time in the script, but they'll have equal weight. So yeah, I guess that's not a sentence, but
That's a lovely explanation, truly. I love that. It was magical realism.
yeah. I
That's
mean,
very
I think
lovely.
magic is, just why not? Why not kind of blow people's minds? Took a workshop in graduate school, and I wish I still had what I wrote, and I don't even remember but it was amazing. And the assignment was write something that can't happen.
I
That
need
was
to know
it.
what that is. I need to know what that is. We don't
I, well,
we we take one acting class here, and right now it's a very, I think, physical class, but I do know that they made us come up with monologues the other day, and it was very interesting to see how I think everybody has a different interpretation of certain things.
yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah,
That's
just the way the human mind works. It was just kind of write a monologue and people went either really dark with it or, really quirky or fun. And it was really great to see just kind of how the human mind works.
Yeah, I'm in this writing group at the Lambs, and I kind of lead it, I guess. And so I came up with these characters set in a mental hospital, and I assigned everybody a character, and then each one had to write a 10-minute play, maybe using their character as the main character, but also including the others. And then after they all came back, I kind of cobbled them together as one play. And it's a pretty cool exercise because in some ways, almost psychically, there was some kind of congruence to the storytelling. So, you know what? Nothing's wasted.
No, absolutely. And I think that's a really interesting exercise you did. That's very
Well,
smart.
thank you.
I like that a lot. But we'll let you go and just thank you so much for all your words of advice. Appreciate you.
Ooh, I'm your fan, so I'm going to be following you guys, and
Thank
I
you.
hope to hear from you.
Of course.
We'll
You'll be
stay in
hearing from
touch.
us. Yeah. Thank you so
All
much
right.
again. We really, really appreciate everything you said. Yeah. You're
I-
lovely and you're full of spirit and it's so contagious.
Thank you. Well, you inspire me too.
Thank
All
you.
right, we'll see you again.
Hi, guys. We really, really hope you guys enjoyed that as much as we did. We really want to thank Maura for being so kind to us and just so welcoming. We enjoyed the conversation so, so much. Yeah, so we hope you have a wonderful day. And just to check in back with you with our goal of the week last time, were they accomplished? I will say mine, guys. I think I'm planning on filming it tomorrow. I did my monologue, and I'm gonna trust Valentina on this one, and she said it was fine. So I did my monologue, and that was good. But the short film I was planning on putting out is probably gonna be pushed back to tomorrow, just because this week was so hectic. I think mine was being an academic weapon. I mean, kind of. It was a stressful week. And we got through. And we tried our best. So, proud of myself for that. So, our goal for next week, though. Oof, what's that? Oh, definitely, my goal would have to be putting that short film out. Just music. And I'll touch more into that next episode. Other than that, thanks so much for watching. Shout out to Miss Campbell. We appreciate you so much. Yeah, make sure to check out E2 Maura on YouTube and Instagram and anywhere, honestly.
at It's a Twins Moreno. Go check it out. Linktree might be in the bio. And if for some reason it isn't because YouTube is being kind of tricky, you can go on Instagram at It's a Twins Moreno. But again, shout out to Ms. Campbell for being so lovely and amazing and such a talent and free spirit. We appreciate you and all of you guys hearing this. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Bye-bye.